Well, first of all, let me say a big welcome to you if you are joining us today. Who knows how you ended up here? Maybe it was just searching around online, maybe our website, maybe YouTube, you came across us, or maybe you ended up here because you attended one of our meetups at Movement Church. Whatever the case, we are glad that you're joining us. We're just going to have a couple of conversations together. This first one is really to introduce you to the first of our values at Movement Church, and we wanted to share that with you. Now, again, if you went through a meetup, you heard all about our mission. Yep. Right? And that is that we exist to encourage and equip people to know Jesus, love others, and of course,
live change.
Live change. So live change, it leads us perfectly into our first value. And that first value is life change. That we know, it's not just that we believe it, that we know that the most significant part of a relationship with Jesus Christ is life change. And one of the things we say around here is we've experienced it. Mm-hmm. And so we expect to be a part of witnessing others experience the same. Something that is not transactional, but transformational, that it's not rules and regulations. And you were kind of talking about that.
Like I want more.
Right.
I have more than that. Sure. But I talk to people so often on a Sunday or during the week who came from a background where all they experienced was religion.
Right.
So it didn't carry over into their lives. It didn't give them peace. It didn't help them through conflicts. They just had religion. They didn't have that relationship. They didn't ever experience a real life change. I want people to get more than just religion, or more than just a place where they meet friends. I mean, yes, we want people to find community here. Yeah. But I want more. I want them to have more than that. I want them to really meet and know Jesus so that they can have the peace I already know. Mm-hmm. They can just experience that lasting, not just past a Sunday, but throughout the week, throughout their lives. I want them to know Jesus. And we've heard so many stories where people did get to know and meet Jesus. And I know you have one that's probably just burning on the tip of your tongue.
Yes. So, I mean, you've heard me tell the story before about my friend Caleb. So he's he's all grown up now. He's a firefighter and everything. But boy, back when I was a student pastor, Caleb was in 8th grade, and I will never forget summer camp. And it was that night, the big campfire night, right? Where you throw the stick in the fire.
Not that song anymore, but maybe.
No kumbaya or anything like that. But I remember going back to the cabin after the campfire. I could tell that a lot of the boys had been really impacted by that. And Caleb grabbed me, man, before I left. He's like, "Can I talk to you?" And we stepped outside, and he just said, "Dwayne, I need to know God more. I don't know what happened, but like I need to read the Bible, and I have to know God more." Yeah. And I was like, "Dude, I'm here for it," Right. And so he came home and he got into the Word. Like he started reading the Bible nonstop, and then he started to ask other people to read the Bible. I don't know if you guys know this about teenagers, but that is not normal behavior.
No, it is
like
not.
His life was changed. And here's the cool part. It wasn't like a flash in a pan. It wasn't like, the camp high wears off, when you get home, right? Yeah. So this continued for years. It continues to this day. If anybody meets Caleb, they're going to hear about Jesus, right? But I will never forget 4 years afterwards. So Caleb is now, you fast forward, Caleb is a senior in high school. And he's still inviting people to read the Bible with him. And he invites his neighbor, who's a freshman at his high school, to read the Bible with him, right? So this kid's name is Mason, right? And Mason's like, "I guess, sure," And so they start reading the Bible together. They're reading through Genesis. And, and of course, Mason asks questions. That leads to conversations. And then before you know it, Caleb is sharing the gospel with Mason. Mason comes to know Jesus, ends up at Movement Church. Right. Yeah. And now, before you know it, it's a baptism Sunday, and he sees somebody in the tank, and Mason's like, what's that? Like, tell me about that. And he says, I need to do that. Right. My life was changed. And so a few weeks later, Mason's in that tank. I actually had the privilege of baptizing him that Sunday. And it was so cool. A couple of weeks later, I'm sitting and I'm looking down a couple of rows down.
Yes.
And I see not just Caleb and Mason, right? But I see Mason and his girlfriend and her entire family. The whole row
goes on and on.
was filled. And I was just thinking, man, how cool. You go back to this life change event that happened with Caleb.
Yeah.
And he was so changed that he expected, right? He experienced something and he expected other people's lives to be changed too. And here's Mason. And the story just continues on. It's fascinating.
Yeah, exactly. And Caleb and Mason's story, those two fellows, those are just two of countless stories, really. So many that we've gotten the privilege of being able to hear and be a part of and witness them experiencing it and expecting it, experiencing it and expecting it. In fact, since we really initiated this and got really focused on it, so we're talking about since 2021 to today, and right now we're in 2026, the front side, we have seen 584 people say yes to Jesus. That's just the ones we know about. Right? We don't know about all the seeds that have been planted. These are people we've been able to contact and follow up with, and 170 of those have made that faith public through baptism. I mean, that to me is the most encouraging thing about this particular value. And we offer up these numbers. We often say this around here. We won't say it every time, but it's worth noting that when we share these numbers with you, with one another, what we're talking about is not just a number. What we're being reminded of is that every number has a name. And every name has a story. And every story matters to God. And your story matters to God. Right?
We want to be part of that story. Like maybe, again, like Nate said, we're not sure how you found this video, but maybe you're watching it and going, I need that. I don't know that I have that life change. We want to talk to you. We want to have a conversation.
Absolutely, we do.
And we often share these numbers on a Sunday, but even wherever you are, that number 94,000, you can text it. You can text new to MC, new to Movement Church, new to Jesus. And with the number 2, we'll put it in the comments here underneath our video, but it's also in the email if you got it that way. That'll just put you on our radar so we can call you and talk with you and walk with you through that. Or maybe like Mason, they're like, my life has changed, but baptism, like I haven't gotten a chance to do that. Like, what do I do next? Again, links. We would love to talk to you and walk you through that process. Why you would want to go get baptized and share with your church family the decision you already made inside.
So good.
Maybe you're not sure what following Jesus even looks like. So we're also going to include a link just to a past message series that really kind of helps you see what would my life look like? What should it look like if I'm consistently and regularly following Jesus, taking steps in that direction. So we want to help people do that. But we really hope that they just continue to follow us here too. And watch the next couple
next video.
Because the next one we get to talk about what's next, that growth. And got some good stories. We got some good stories. So I hope you'll join us.
We'll see you in a minute.
All right.
Can't wait.